Today on the social medias, I have with me Clint Arthur. I'm going to look down and read because some of my notes are in front of me, and during the time we're talking, I'm going to do that as well. Clint Arthur is the author of the new book, What They Teach You at Wharton Business School. It is now ranking. Clint, you want to tell us the ranking?
It's ranked as high as #2 on Amazon.com in the entrepreneurship bestseller list.
And I read into the book, and I really liked what I read. And I asked Clint to come and share with us some of what he has in this book. And generally, Clint and I are friends from a space we call it's an author space. And in that space, I've noticed how much he gives and how good is his content. So I wanted him to come and share it with us. Clint, you have 5 tips for an entrepreneur. I'm an old entrepreneur, and these are mostly entrepreneurs. You have 5 tips to share with us of how they can immediately make more money. And I really only bullet pointed this, so I'm going to let you guide it as questions come up.
Sure.
I'm going to ask them to you. So go ahead and share them with us, please.
Okay, sure. First of all, I want to ask you one quick question, and that is, what was it that you liked about my book? Okay, because I'm not trying to be specific here. I like your general answer, and this is very important.
You know something? I appreciate this little tee up, if you will. It's the originality. I've read other business books recently where you feel like you're just compiling all the other gurus. I don't want to mention any names here so we can use this video. But I take and I read into yours, and everything felt original, and it looked really good content. You know, you weren't copying sentences from other gurus. So original, I'd say, in a word, original.
Okay, good, because that's exactly what this interview is going to be like. You are not going to hear stuff that you've heard 1,000 times in 1,000 other interviews on this presentation on how to make more money as an entrepreneur. Okay, this is all real stuff that I have learned from real life in the trenches, running my own company, the 5-Star Butter Company. I supply a portion control butter piece to large institutions like the Bellagio in Las Vegas, the Phoenician in Scottsdale, Arizona, Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago. I'm a serious, actual entrepreneur, and I learned a lot of what I've used to make me successful at the Wharton Business School when I studied entrepreneurial management there. But these tips are not about accounting. They're not about finance. They're not about counting beans. These are about making money right now. So let's get into the quantum leap number 1. For many people, this is going to take your business into a whole new level. For other people, they're going to be like, wow, that's so obvious. But you know what? There's a lot of entrepreneurs there who do not get this point. And if you are an entrepreneur right now and you are not doing this, then you are costing yourself money and you are missing out on a lot of money. And that is very simply answer your freaking phone. Now, how did I learn this at the Wharton Business School? At the Wharton Business School, they teach us how to use the latest technology. When I was a freshman at Wharton, I used Macintosh computers. Like way back in 1987, in 1985, we were using Macintosh computers to learn how to do spreadsheets.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Hey, newbie, I've been a computer geek since there's been a computer. And I'll be honest with you, I always thought the Macintosh snobbishness was overrated. But I've been a newbie on the Mac for 3 months. I am stunned. I tell people it's like upgrading 100 times from Windows. So I hope I don't get in trouble for this.
No, it's absolutely true. But the key is you got to use it. Now, all these people, they have all these very high technology cell phones in their pockets, but they don't answer their frickin' phones. And the technology is worthless unless you use it. And that is one of the big lessons from the Wharton Business School is use the top technology and answer your phone. For example, I was trying to hire...
Use the technology, and currently that happens to be the phone.
What I'm talking about right now, and the big quantum leap for many people is the fact that they don't answer their phone. I was trying to hire a licensed landscape architect to do a job for me a couple weeks ago. I went through 8 pages of Google listings, calling every single person who had their name and number listed under landscape architect Los Angeles. And I got through 8 pages of them and only got one guy who was qualified who answered his damn phone, and he got the job and made $1,000 for doing 2 pages of work for me because I needed it to get done. And if you are an entrepreneur, you're not answering almost every single call. I mean, unless you're like in the John and can't answer it because you're indisposed, you need to be answering your phone. So that's number one. Let's go to number two. Voicemail. If you are a business person, you must have a voicemail message that sounds professional, and it should include your full name. When a person calls your phone and gets your voicemail, it should sound something like my voicemail message, which is, "Hi, this is Clint Arthur. Leave a message at the tone and I will call you back." It shouldn't say, "Hey, it's John. Leave me a message and I'll try to call you back." It shouldn't say, "Hey, this is John. Leave me a message with the date, time, and address and everything that I need to know about your call, and I'll return your call at my earliest convenience." No, that's not the way you talk to a customer who wants to pay you money. Okay? There are so many people who say that. Your voicemail,
I'm so guilty.
Right? Your voicemail must be user-friendly to the person who's going to pay you money or hire you or buy your service and product. And then by extension, now I want to talk about the other side of voicemail, which is email signatures. Okay? I was trying to do a favor for somebody who I'm trying to help out with his launch. And in his email that he sends me back, is there a link to his launch website? No. Is there a link? Is his phone number on his email signature? No. Is his email address on his email signature? No. Is his name on his email signature? No. No information is there that I need. I want to help him to make money. I want to sign up and be an affiliate of his launch. There is nothing there that is going to help me to help him make money. Help your customers to pay you or to buy from you or to help you make money. Your email should have your name, and it's your full name. It should have your phone number, which is your cell phone number. It should have your email address. It should have your website. And if there's a quote, like on my email, the signature, it says, "Anything is possible." That's the motto by which I live my life. Okay? So your email signature is like your voicemail, and they must be designed to help you earn money. Okay? Number three. This is the first.
Can I interrupt you a little bit? I
Sure.
wanted to throw in just a tiny bit the social media blurbs that we put on there, because now we're available a lot more on social media. Just to add it to the email, just a sidebar.
Hey, that's a great point, to put your Facebook link or your Twitter link if you do that. Yeah, that's a great point, because Facebook is like a way for people to interview you before they will do business with you. And your Facebook page should be optimized so that people will have a favorable impression of you as a business person. And that link would be a powerful thing to add to your email signature. But at the very least, you should have your name, your cell phone number, your email address, and your website. See, my website has all kinds of media links, so it's a very powerful selling tool for me. Number three, this is the first thing they teach you at the Wharton Business School. Get the money. Get the money. Now, the way they teach it to you at the Wharton Business School is in Econ 101, where they say $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. $1 in your pocket.
I'm taking notes when I look down, Clint. I'm not.
$1 in your pocket or in your hand right now is worth more than $1 that is promised to you tomorrow. Why is that? Well, let me illustrate it. I have a customer who I've been doing business with since 1999 or 2000. He was my first customer in the 5-Star Butter Company. And he calls me up like last year sometime, and he says, "Hey man, I got your money for you. When can you come and get it?" And I was busy that day. And I said, "Oh, thanks man. I'd like to connect with you tomorrow." He's like, "Sure, just give me a call in the morning and I'll be around all day and we can connect." Great. I call him the next day. It goes to voicemail. I call him back in the afternoon. It goes to voicemail again. I get busy the next day. I call him again on Friday. This all started on Tuesday. I call him on Friday now. Voicemail. It took me 6.5 weeks to get that money. Now, if I had just said, "Sure, man, I'd like to meet you in an hour at the corner of 5th and Broadway, and I'll get the money from you then," I would have had $6,000 in cash in my hand. Instead, it took me 6 weeks to get that $6,000 in cash. Now, what did he do with that $6,000? I later found out that he lent that money to his partner to purchase a farm. All right? I essentially was his banker. extending an interest-free loan for 6 weeks of $6,000 that enabled him to buy a piece of valuable real estate in Los Angeles County. Okay? I made that happen for him, and what did I get out of it? I got the pleasure of not having my money for 6 weeks. When somebody says to you, I have money for you, you need to get that money. You need to go get that money. That is the foundation of our entire banking industry. That is the whole foundation of interest rates. Your interest rate is determined by how much risk is involved. I got a 0 interest rate on my loan to him for 6 weeks of $6,000. When somebody says to you, I have money, you need to go get that money. There are also other ramifications associated with that. One of my clients who wrote a testimonial for the book, What They Teach You About the Wharton Business School, he said that because he went to go get the money, he's a computer consultant, when he showed up there to get the money, they booked him for another job on the spot. He ended up making an extra $600 because he went to go get his $1,100.
Before you go to the next point, I have a thing I say on my videos, and that is services rendered lose their value beginning the second you hand them to the client. And sometimes the client a year later is mad at you because you did the work if he still owes you money, because that would be his way of justifying it. I'm really guilty of this one. I've done a lot of work for people, and I think all of us in this space have. You do work for people and you hope that they see value, they get lead from what you're doing, and then later, hey, what do you mean? I got to pay you?
Yeah.
So
you
services
get your money.
Services rent. I agree with the get paid for what you do as soon as possible.
Okay. Tip number 4. Now, I used to think that this was obvious. This is not obvious for a lot of people. But I'll tell you what, this is something that they drill into you at the Wharton Business School, and it's going to surprise the heck out of you. Work hard and play hard. It is so important that look, we all work hard. One of my professors at Wharton, he used to say, when you're an entrepreneur, you work 168 hours a week. That's 24/7. And it's true, isn't it, Amit?
Well, you know what? When I was franchising my business, the opening sentence says, so you've decided to give up the 8-hour job for a 16-hour, but at least they'll be honest 16.
Yeah. We entrepreneurs, we work up to 168 hours a week. And we work really hard. We're all busting our butts to try to make it and accomplish something and be proud of ourselves in our lives. Well, you know what? You have to reward yourself with good times, whatever that means for you. If that means a night out of drinking with the boys, then go for it. If that means dinner in a gourmet restaurant with your wife with a nice bottle of wine, you deserve it. If that means going skiing for a long weekend in Vermont because the snow is fresh and the powder is soft, then go for it. The Wharton Business School teaches you, and you can ask anybody who goes to Wharton, that you need to work hard and you need to play hard. It is essential as an entrepreneur. And then my 5th and final tip, and I hope you've enjoyed these, my 5th and final one is you need to be a well-rounded person. Man, I learned this before I even got into the Wharton School. I made up my mind when I was 14 years old that I was going to go to the best business school in the world. Who was I to get into the Wharton Business School? I didn't have a family member with a name on the building, on the campus. I didn't have anybody donating money to the school. My parents had never gone to Ivy League universities. They had college degrees from Long Island University.
Slow down a little bit, because one of my requests earlier was, I want to hear the struggle. And it sounds like this was where the struggle, how you managed to get in that school. Tell me the struggle, how you overcame.
This is how it happened. I was 14 years old, and I was reading a book it was a novel about some fabulous international business tycoon. And he went to something called the Wharton Business School. And I'm like, what is that? And I climbed up to the top shelf where we had the encyclopedias. We had actual books in those days that were encyclopedias. And I looked in the W book, and there it was, for real, the Wharton Business School. This was where the tycoons went to college and sent their children. And I said, wow, that's a real place. Now, my dad was an accountant, and I started working for him when I was 12. He would pay me $0.25 to put big bundles of checks into numerical order. Then I started doing bank reconciliations. I always was interested in business and money. And when I was 14, I said, I want to go to the best business school in the world. I had no idea that as a lower middle class kid with no money, I had a long shot of getting in. So that was my goal. That was my guiding vision. That would get me out of bed early on Saturday mornings to get on the subway to go up to Kaplan's to take SAT prep. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I would wake up on Saturdays to get there by 9 so that I could get the SAT scores that I needed. Now, it wasn't just about SAT scores. I was saying I learned this when I was 14 years old before I even got into Wharton. I looked in the college catalogs and they said the accepted applicants for the Wharton Business School have extracurricular activities, including varsity sports and performing in plays and working outside jobs and all kinds of extracurricular activities. What that means is they want you to be a well-rounded person in order to get in. There are guys there who had perfect scores on their SATs in the statistics classes. There were little quant guys, but there weren't that many of them. The majority of the students at the Wharton Business School are all like super interesting, well-rounded people. And that is a very, very important lesson for today's entrepreneurs, because today's entrepreneurs think, oh, well, all I have to do is know how to repair a carburetor and I'm going to be the person in demand. Well, you know what? That's not exactly true, because, yeah, you may get a lot of work, but you'll also miss out on a lot of stuff because you don't have the three-dimensional character of a person who is well-rounded. You're not going to be exposed to meeting different people in different industries and different walks of life who may be customers down the road. If only you were well-rounded and had outside interests besides your work. Family is important. Spirituality or religion can be important. All of these things go into making a well-rounded person, and that is one of the secrets of success from the Wharton Business School.
That's awesome. I tell you what, I don't know if you noticed, I moved on my chair because this was my first interview, and I call it a success. I know I'm going to mess up on the ending, but thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
All right.
I will piggyback on your number 4. Number 4, you said work hard, play hard. In 1992, my best friend came by and he goes, you haven't taken a vacation. You've been in business since '83, officially in a building. You don't take vacations. So, well, once a year we take the kids and we go somewhere. He goes, no, take a lot of vacations. And at first I thought he's silly. But all of my great ideas came. We went to Disney. We get on the tram, and if you can dream it, you can do it, is how I raised my kids. If it is to be, is up to me. And it wasn't, I didn't speak any English, so I had to learn it all here. And you go to these places and you live it. You go to these places and you got 24/7 just to absorb a new idea of how BrandSmart displayed stuff in Miami. And then you come home and it's like, well, I'll put that in my store. Nothing is a brand new idea from me. And so vacation, vacation, vacation. Is there another idea that, in your going 100 miles an hour, you skip to tell us one real, I got 5 awesome nuggets here, but tell me one that you might have forgot.
Hey, I'm going to tell you the most important thing that I ever learned in any school. Now, look, not only did I go to the best business school in the world, I also went to the best high school in the world. I went to this school called Stuyvesant High School in New York City. It's a public school that you have to take an entrance exam to get in. Only the highest scoring kids in all of New York City get to go to this special school. To give you an idea, 99% of the students go to college. 1/3 of my graduating class went to Ivy League schools, including 13 of my friends who went to Harvard. And 60 kids got accepted to my school, the University of Pennsylvania, and the Wharton Business School. So I've been a top student at some of the top schools in the world. And what I'm going to tell you now is the most important thing I ever learned in any class anywhere. And that came from a professor named Digby Baltzell. He was retiring.
Digby Baltzell?
Digby Baltzell, Baltzel. He
what
retired.
Was the
He retired the year that I had him. I had him for the last class he ever taught. His subject was social stratification in America. His class was called Sociology 10. And what this means is the different levels of society in the United States. Now, he not only was one of the most esteemed professors in the whole Ivy League, he invented the term WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. He created that term in his book, which he published in the 1950s. And so there I am sitting there in the first row of that class as a graduating senior. Here I am sitting there, right? Now, the first thing I learned in that class, this is a bonus on top of the most important thing I ever learned. He had this rule. If you're a graduating senior in my class, said Digby Baltzell in his bow tie, if you get an A on any one of my midterms, then you have demonstrated sufficient mastery of my subject matter that you don't need to come to any more classes and you have an A in my class.
Wow.
Okay? So every graduating senior would take his class because they know they got to get 1A, they get an A on their final grade, and they don't have to go to class anymore. So, of course, I get an A on the first midterm exam. I'm excused. I don't have to go to classes. So here we are. Now we fast forward to the spring of my senior year at the Wharton Business School. I'm in this class. I've already got an A. Do you think I'm out loafing and getting a suntan on college lawn with the rest of the slackers? Hell no. I'm in my seat on the last day of his class and every class because I know I've got a living legend dispersing wisdom to me, right? I'm a serious student. And the most important, the second most important thing I learned was this concept of show up for the class. You can't learn unless you're in the class. Cutting classes is not going to help you. Okay?
I'm going to try to fit us into a little commercial within about 20 seconds for you. Would you forgive me if I do that? Because I'm recording the last 5 minutes and I'm about to run out.
Okay.
So I want everybody, below me is a link for a 99-cent books, folks. A 99-cent book on Amazon until we get it to #1. Please help. Go ahead and press the link. You can keep recording. I'm running out on my end, so I wanted to fit that in. So go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone's support in helping to move this book up to #1. I think it deserves to be #1, and it will help so many entrepreneurs because there's more of this kind of wisdom in the book. It's just real stuff. Okay, so I learned you got to show up for the class. Now, here's the most important thing I ever learned in any class, anywhere, in all the great schools I attended. This is what Digby Baltzell said. If by the time you die, you have one true friend, then you have lived a successful life. I'm tearing up right now just saying it because I'm remembering when he said it. And when he was saying it, I was like 10 feet away from the guy in the first row, and I could see that he was thinking about his wife. I could see that, yeah, a wife is more than just a friend. A wife is your mate, but at the very least, your wife should be your true friend. And I feel very grateful to have found and married a wonderful person and have her in my life because I know that she's on my side every single day and she is my true friend. And I know that if all I do for the rest of my life is just maintain this honest relationship with my wife, then I will have lived a successful life according to one of the most esteemed and wisest professors in the whole Ivy League.
Well, you know what? I'm only hoping you can figure out how to get this to him and his family because that is a beautiful testament. And my daughter is going to be a physics professor, and it was a dream. I never got to finish college because I ran out of $364. I dropped out for that. But I am so indebted for those who teach me. And I thank you so much for teaching so genuinely here. Ladies and gentlemen, these social medias .com is where this is going to get housed. Of course, wherever you see it, there's a link somewhere on the page. If not, I'm going to put a little banner of the socialmedias.com. And if it ever disappears off page 1, you just search for Clint Arthur and it'll come up so you can click on and get the book. Now, Clint, I'm planning to bring you back here again because I'm sure you're going to be popular on our TV station for when you're ready to launch much more sophisticated training. So promise me you'll come back.
Thank you. Yes, I definitely will. And if anyone wants to find out more about my stuff, go to clintarthur.com. That's CLINTARTHUR.com. I have amazing stuff for entrepreneurship. I am all about inspiring and educating entrepreneurs about the freedom, power, and adventure of the entrepreneurial lifestyle. I have a whole collection of amazing products and experiences that help people to get everything possible out of being an entrepreneur. And that's all available to be found at clintarthur.com. Thank you very much, Hamid.
Welcome. And just one parting word. Clint is with me in that room. That right above this, you probably saw a video that says I probably hugged or interacted with. Clint wears his emotions on his sleeve. I love when people just let it all go. And if it doesn't work, turn around and fix it or make it right or always try to be supportive. And Clint is one of those people. I'm really glad. At this stage, we're what I call growth friends. I hope one day we become real friends, Clint. Absolute congratulations. I'm going to be putting this to you guys. Please vote. Really simple, 99 cents. is all it is until we get it to #1. Promise me you'll keep it up for 2 weeks from today, so we can at least get it 1 week. Okay, and if it gets to #1 sooner, for 1 week from the date of publishing this video, I'll make sure that you guys will get a 99 cents version. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you, Amin.